ratifying the Constitution. The 5 for ratification. The articles could only be changed if all states agreed. This resulted in changes never taking place. They needed the new Constitution to take its place, to take place of the articles.
Federalists and Anti-Federalists. The debate for the ratification of the Constitution created two groups, Federalists and Anti-Federalists. The Federalists favored the ratification, and Anti-Federalists didn't. Federalists tried to show why the Articles were flawed, while the Anti-Federalists poked at almost every part of the Constitution. The parts of the Constitution that caused most controversy were that it greatly increased the powers of the central government and that it lacked a Bill of Rights.
Virginia's ratification. Virginia's vote for ratification followed New Hampshire's 4 days later. On June 25, 1788, it was with George Washington's support for the document and with the help of Madison that he was able to get Jefferson's support.
Why was that Virginia ratification? Why did you devote a whole slide to the issue of Virginia ratifying it?
Because both Virginia and New York were some of the biggest states, and they needed them to not to ratify. Is that right? No.
They needed. So
they needed Virginia and New York.
Who's they?
The
founders.
Framers? The framers.
So you're saying if New York and Virginia didn't come on, then the success of the Constitution would be in question?
Yeah.
Right, because it would be instead of being a whole union, it would be 2 of the major states would be out of it. The more heavily populated, they had more wealth, they wouldn't be concurring with the rest of the smaller states.
New York, the last key state. New York had finally ratified in July 26, 1788, after a long battle with the Anti-Federalists being led by Governor George Clinton. The Federalist was a campaign document that contained 85 essays supporting the Constitution and is said to be some of the best political writings in the English language. It was because of the contest in New York that the document came to be.
And I would point your attention in your textbook at the back. You'll find several selections of the Federalist Papers there. And by the way, those of you who have any interest in government, political science, policy of any nature, I can assure you that going on to the university level, you'll be spending some time delving into these essays and breaking them down and talking about its meaning. In fact, much of what we know about the Constitutional Convention, as you already mentioned earlier, comes from James Madison's writings, but a lot actually comes from the arguments used in the Federalist Papers, in these newspapers, because we actually get inside the minds of those great thinkers in the convention. So if you want to know how and why the Constitution was crafted the way it was, you read the Federalist Papers. It's kind of like it's like the briefing of what goes on inside the CIA, the Langley edition, if you will. It gives you really great insight. Plus, you get to know James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Governor Clinton, a whole lot better. Plus, it just makes you a better informed constitutionalist.
Inaugurating the government. March 4th, 1789, the new Congress met in Federal Hall on Wall Street. It was because of the lack of quorum, or majority, that electoral votes couldn't be counted until April 4th. It was that day that George Washington was elected president and sworn into office on April 30th.
Oh. It's April 6th, not April 4th. A little correction. Any questions?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.